Welcome back to Level Up, a podcast where we help you understand that you don't know what you don't know. A podcast where you have the ability every single week when we release to hear something that can help you and add value to your life and that you can take away from the conversations. This week, we're going to be dealing with a very interesting subject, and we have a special guest with us today that we'll be introducing here in just a minute. But this week is about the road to adulting, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So I think that for many of you out there, some of you are down that road a few mile markers currently, and you've experienced a lot about life. Maybe if you're in your mid-20s, some of you maybe toward the end of your 20s, and maybe some of you in your 30s or beyond. But I think you understand that that road can be one that sometimes is very easy and other times can be very difficult as you maneuver life. So we're going to be talking about that today. I think one phrase that might sum that up might be, I think I got this. You go from thinking that I got this to what the heck am I doing? I think that might sum up the road into adulthood in a variety of different ways. I think all of us have probably found ourselves making choices in life where we decided that we kind of knew what we were doing. And we took a step and we jumped out. Some of you who are more risk takers and found yourself in over your head and realized I really don't know what I'm doing here. I really don't know what I'm doing, and I'm in over my head. I think we've all been there, right? And that can be a scary place. It can be a place where you learn a lot, and it can be a place where there's a lot of pain as well, right? And life lessons being learned. I have a quote I want to share with you before I introduce our guest today. No one tells you the scariest thing about growing up is that you're the one in charge now, right? I'm going to say that one more time. No one tells you the scariest thing about growing up is that you are now the one in charge. Basically what happens is the buffer gets taken away. Some of you who are finishing high school, some of you who are now in your mid-20s or past up 30s or older, you understand all this, right? The buffer that you have when you're younger gets kind of removed. There's no shield as you get older because now it's all on you. You own those responsibilities. You can't wait to become 18. You can't wait to become 21 and have the responsibilities of being an adult. I can't wait to be an adult. And then all of a sudden you're an adult and you realize, wait a minute, to become an adult, which I've always wanted to be, sometimes is not the funnest thing because you kind of make a trade-off and sacrifice a lot of cool stuff when you become an adult, right? So probably some of you have heard of the parent plan, right? You lose the parent plan when you become adult. Some of you are about to lose the parent plan. Some of you have been on a parent plan light program where maybe you're getting some money, you're getting a phone, you're getting maybe some help in some other areas. And some of you are off the parent plan, but everybody remembers when they were on the parent plan. And do you remember what it was like when you were on the parent plan? Let me remind you, right? Free food. Okay, you could get food. You could tell your mom or your parents, hey, she's going to the grocery store. Get me the hot Cheetos. Get me the Funyuns. Get me whatever I get, Gatorades. Get me the Yoo-Hoos. Whatever it is you need, free, right? No big deal. And they bring it to you and serve it to you. The parent plan. What about gifts? Just randomly, you get gifts. What about Christmas? Right? I mean, did Christmas change for you when you went on the parent plan light or the parent plan you're off completely, right? Those kinds of things change. Vacations. You get to go on all these vacations and go to these places and have fun. And when you come off the parent plan and you own it and it's your responsibility, not only do you realize how much those vacations really cost, but you have to work to make money now because you own your adult life, right? So you can't just go and do that. What about a car, right? And the insurance. What about your phone? What about gas money? Do you remember when you used to just get gas money? Hey, here's some money to help with gas. Not when you become an adult. Doesn't work like that. So I just wanted you to reflect back on the fact that as an adult, you always want to be older. I remember being in high school and you want to be an adult. And we can't wait till I can be on my own. And then you realize when you get on your own, man, it was really, really cool when I didn't have all these things that I had to deal with. So let me introduce our guest today, which is Mr. Jacob Peters. Welcome, Jacob. Yay, Jacob.
Glad to be here.
Jacob flew in to be with us today from St. Paul, Minnesota. Like, I'm not kidding. He really did fly in last night. He came to visit, and it just made sense to plan this podcast and have him here around the things that we're going to talk about today. He got in, about 1 o'clock last night?
1 o'clock, yeah.
We were a little scared because his plane got delayed, and we were wondering, man, if he gets canceled, I'm probably going to have Ethan, our producer, come on, and I'll have to interview him. But it all worked out, and Jacob, I'm really glad you're here today.
As well.
So Jacob is my son, Jacob Peters, 24 years old, who currently lives, as I mentioned, in St. Paul, Minnesota. I want to talk to Jacob today about what it's really like at 24 in 25. So what's it like being 24? He just turned 24 about a month ago, right? Mm-hmm. And so what's it like in the year 2025 being 24? Many of you out there are around that age. You're going to associate and maybe through some really honest discussions that are very real here today. There may be some things that Jacob can offer up that will be helpful, or maybe some things that you may want to think about differently. And so that's why we wanted to talk about this when we talk about this road, right, to into adulthood. Couple things about Jacob. I'm actually glad Jacob is here today, not only because of, just coming to visit, but about a year ago, we were at the sand dunes up in Silver Lake, and I have a brand new Can-Am 700 all-wheel drive, 2-seat up monster four-wheeler. And we go up to the sand dunes in Michigan every year with our whole family, and we have a blast. I had a TRX with the Hellcat engine last year that I drove on the dunes, which was amazing. And then we had a couple four-wheelers. My son Denton had a dirt bike, but Jacob was riding this new four-wheeler, and he had an accident doing donuts on the beach. And unfortunately, he flipped and went out and broke his ribs in 6 places, right?
Yep.
So that was a bad thing, right? We were really concerned about Jacob. We had to take him to the hospital. They bandaged him up. And how long did it take you to get over that?
I want to say about 2 months. And the funny thing was when I went on a boat, like as soon as I got back to Minnesota, every wave you could just feel it. But I ended up just sucking it up and going back to work with it, and eventually just was able to deal with it.
Yeah. So a couple months. But listen, it could have been a lot worse. So, I'm really glad he's here and he's not crooked and walking sideways and, making like sounds when he moves, like he's in pain or something. So really, really glad. A couple of things about Jacob, just to give you an intro about his background, right? So Jacob went to Hudson High School. You graduated in what, 2018?
2019.
Jacob mostly played some football, but you wrestled.
Yes.
And what class, what weight group were you in the wrestling?
I started at 220, and then around my junior year, I dropped down to 182.
Okay. And you were really successful in that. I remember being at one of Jacob's meets, and it was right before a state, right? Like a level.
Sectionals or regionals.
Yeah. And he was winning and going to move to the next level from there. And I remember he picked this kid up, and literally the kid was upside down, and he picked him up in the air, and the guy fell. And typically, you catch yourself when you fall, but he didn't.
No.
And he just fell from midair straight down on his head. And it was kind of a scary gig, to be honest with you. I mean, like we were like, wow, look, he picked that guy up. And then it was like, whoa, that guy fell down and he's not moving. And it was really scary for a moment. I mean, we can talk about it now and it's kind of funny, but then it was like, whoa, but the guy was okay. It just knocked him out, but you ended up getting disqualified. I remember.
Yeah, he passed injury time for the amount of time it took him to get up. And then that was the end of the wrestling career.
Yeah. So and that was your senior year, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of wrestling, and Jacob has moved in his life. He's going to talk more about this, but he's moved into being a senior mechanic out in St. Paul. He actually went through school at Century College out there and went through certification, and has now worked in the field for several years and has gained a tremendous amount of experience, not just on a particular car brand, as if he was working for like Chevy or, GM or BMW, for example, but he works on all of these types of vehicles. So he gets well-rounded in his skill and how to do all kinds of different things. So he becomes really a very valuable asset for someone to have. There are a couple of memories I have with Jacob that are pretty funny. It's interesting when you stop to think about, I've known you since you were, I think, 6 or 7 years old. And I remember the first time we met, you came over, said hi to me and said, "Cool car." When you were like 6 or 7, I remember that in a McDonald's parking lot. But one of the things, it's like all these memories, and then, some of these ones stick out. And I remember one of the memories we have is, we went on this, we were at Silver Lake Dunes, as I mentioned earlier, we were back then, and we decided, I had this great idea that we were all going to take a horseback ride. And so we got horses, and all of us got on, Jacob, Denton, Amy, and, about 15 other people. And for those of you who ride horses, you're going to really laugh at this because you're going to understand what went wrong. And for those of you who don't ride horses, you need to learn and ask this question before you get on the horse, because it's a memorable thing from a long time ago. So we got on the horses, we took off, and we're going right along through the weeds. I don't know, it was like an hour and a half horse ride probably, right? And these are, pretty big horses, and we're just kind of going slow. And I know there are official words for what horses do. There's like the slow thing and the middle thing, the trot and the gallop. And I don't know all that, okay? But what I do know is that the lady in the front said, "Okay, we're going to do this now." And, so all of a sudden, I don't know what the official word is, but the horses started to run, and we had to stay together. Well, what's really interesting here that happened to Jacob and I, and Denton was there too. And I think Denton would have been maybe 5 years younger now so he might have been around 10 or maybe 8. So we're tooling. And as soon as we start to run, something seems very, very wrong to me. I am experiencing significant pain. I'm experiencing significant pain in a place that I can't really say on the podcast in its physical word or name, if you get what I'm saying here, okay? And I look back and I look at Jacob, and Jacob is experiencing severe pain. And we are riding the horse, and every time we bounce, we are experiencing severe pain. And I'm screaming at the lady who's up in front, 5 to 8 horses in front of me, going, "Hey, this really hurts," right? You remember? Oh, yeah. And I'm looking at Jacob, and he's going like this, right? He's not saying anything, but making some really amazing faces. And I don't know about Denton. I don't know where he was in all of this. I mean, he was 10 or 8, and he might have been like, not bothered by the pain. I'm not sure. But I can tell you this, the lady finally stopped. And I'm like, "Listen, something's really wrong here. We got 15 people around us." I'm like, "Listen, something's not right." And they hadn't adjusted I don't even know what they're called. Not stirrups. The stirrups. Yeah, no. Is it stirrups?
I believe, stirrups is what you stand on.
Yeah, that's
the saddle, maybe the saddle.
No, it was the stirrups.
The stirrups.
Because you were supposed to be able, when you stand up in the stirrups, to get your butt up off the seat. So when they run, you just go with them like this, right? And you're not going like this. That's a whole different experience. And so that's what Jacob and I experienced horseback riding. And that's been a funny story that we've shared till this day. And I have to tell you, I don't think that I have ridden a horse since then. Have you been on a horse?
No, but I have watched the show Yellowstone, and I now know the form, so I'm ready this time.
So there you go. If you're going to ride a horse, make sure you ask if the stirrups are adjusted and you can stand and get your butt off the saddle when the horse decides to run, okay? The other thing I remember is, this is funny, and he's going to talk about this here in just a minute, I'm sure. But I remember Jacob telling his mom and I, in his senior year, after he was close to graduating or right after graduating, he was thinking about moving out. Like he told us one day, yeah, I think I'm going to move out and go and do some things. And okay, well, that's cool. Like in a passing conversation. This wasn't like, let's sit down and talk about it for an hour. Let's figure out where that's going. It was like, I think I'm going to move out. And so I don't know, a week or two later, I came home and I pull up in the driveway and here he is carrying a mattress out of the house. He's moving. And I'm like, what the heck is happening? And it's funny when I think back about it. I'm like, I remember you coming out of the garage with a mattress on your back. I'm like, oh my gosh, he's just moving. He's out of here, right? Because you were wanting to be an adult.
An adult, right? Wanting that independent.
Yeah. So back to what we talked about earlier, right? Like you get to the end of high school and you just can't wait to be an adult. So a couple fun things there, that I've had. Anything that you can remember, Jacob, that you want to bring up about funny or something I can't remember because I'm older than you now? I can't, anything specific.
What I remember from that day is just like getting it all ready. And when I was with my girlfriend, we had the same song played the entire time we were moving out. And until this day, I cannot get that out of my head.
What's the song?
Oh, it was called Focus by Bozzy.
Okay.
But it was just playing the whole time when we were getting ready.
Okay.
Oh man.
So we're going to look at three parts here, right? I kind of divided it, the good, the bad, the ugly. So we're going to talk about, first of all, the good things about the road to adulting and what's happened there. So Jacob, now that you're 24 years old, one of the things I'm interested in and people are probably interested in is what's one win, one thing in your life that you're really proud of now at 24 years old, one win that you could share with us today.
Well, it'll be coming in the next month or two, but I have bought an engagement ring and I will be proposing to my girlfriend very soon.
Very cool. Very cool. That's a big deal.
Yeah. Very excited.
That's a very big deal. Big step. Can you talk about how your definition of what success is, how that's changed since you were in high school?
So 100%.
Yeah.
I want to say when I was in high school, my version of success was kind of just the popularity and being at the next best thing and not really thinking about the future or money at all, just kind of entertainment and self amusement. But I'd say it's changed. Kind
of focused with more focused on you, probably?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And now the mindset has changed to being able to take care of a family and to provide for that family. It's my girlfriend and my zoo of animals. I've got 2 dogs and 4 cats and some fish, so lots of mouths to feed.
And I'm sure you keep them very much separated, the cats from the fish.
Oh, yes, 100%. The fun thing is, though, they like to get on top of the tank, and we have a little bit of a fat cat, and sometimes he can push the whole lid of the tank down, so you got to keep an eye on them.
Yeah, because they would go fishing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
That's why I ask.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you got to keep an eye on the little open front because they'll stick their paws down in there and try to play with them.
Yeah, that makes total sense, man. So one of the things that is of interest to me when we talk about Gen Z and this generation right now, there's so many things we've been talking about over the past couple podcasts. I've been talking about identity. Excuse me. We've talked about expectations in life, a lot of different things, but it's a really different time to grow up. Your generation has a lot of challenges that others haven't had. Even the millennial generation hasn't faced the one in front of you. And you guys have a really tough time with just normal things that growing up may have been like the norm for a millennial or for someone older is really different for you guys. And so one of the things I would ask you is when you get up every day, what is it that you have hope in? Like you get out of bed every day and it's like, what are the things that are positive that you have hope and excitement about? Like what gives you hope daily when you get up?
Oh, I would say, just waking up next to my girlfriend, I made that commitment and I'm as well going to be engaging to her, but kind of just being able to wake up and seeing her right next to me when I get up and the family we have started with my animals and being able to take them on walks in the morning and just kind of my little family routine that I've started.
Okay. So you're getting to a point where you feel family.
Yeah.
Right? You feel a family scenario with her, with the dogs and your cats and your fish, which you're not walking, but if you are, let me know and please send me a video.
Oh, I will. I'll have to
post it up.
Heck yeah.
But that's really good because, when we talk about what's changed in your perspective since high school, right? That's a new thing.
Yeah.
Right?
100%.
Would you say you have a really much better understanding of family? Like if you look back to what you were dealing with through high school, being home, right? Still at home, not an adult yet. Can you see looking back there and understand some of the feelings of family there and things that were going on now that you're a little bit older and you're starting to see family yourself?
Oh, yes, 100%, especially with being involved with my girlfriend's family and them having younger kids than we have and or you guys have. And kind of just, I guess, how I would take certain, whether it be like punishment or just things that, you kind of have to do for your kid anyway to steer them clear, but just being very strong-headed about certain scenarios and now being able to look back after multiple years and like, that was really not anything that wouldn't have happened in reality, and just being able to move past anything and have a stronger bond with your immediate family.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Well, let's talk about the middle ground and the bad, right? So we talked about the good stuff where you are. So if there was something in life that you look back now that no one warned you about in your 20s, right? Like even coming out of high school to now. So nobody warned you about this. What and you had a whoa moment, right? Like, oh my gosh, I had no idea. Can you give me an idea of what that might be or might have been that you might have faced? Something that like nobody warned you, was a complete blindside whoa moment.
Oh yeah, definitely. What I've tend to see is when you have a certain kickback or something sets you back, it could be anything. Even one of my coworkers said, it all happens in threes. It doesn't tend to just be one thing and you're like, oh, you can recover from it. As soon as you get hit with one thing, it seems like life just likes to throw everything at you. So you have to be very prepared and very patient, because not everything is going to be an immediate fix or you're going to have the answer right away. Sometimes it can be prolonged or it can be very long, but you just have to stick through and keep your head on your shoulders.
Okay. So in a way, if I read into that, it's an expectation.
Yeah.
Right. It has to do with expectation of what's going to happen with things as you move forward or you're going through this process, right?
Correct. Yeah.
And we talked about expectation, like our episode 3, actually, we talked about expectation and the fact that expectation is kind of a movie that's playing in your head about a circumstance, whatever it might be, a person, a friend, a restaurant, food you're about to eat, a car, doesn't matter, right? Your job, but you have a movie in your head and this is the way you see it playing out. And then it plays out in a whole different movie.
Yes.
Right? Is that kind of what you're trying to say?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So there's quite a bit of that happening in the past 6 years or so for you, getting to the age that you're at. There's been lots of movies that were, this is where I'm going, but the movie reality was different.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. You can always have a plan for what you're going to do, but a lot of times it likes to be like a mountain road. You're going to have very many curves and turns before you get there.
Right. Right. And the one thing we talked about last week on the podcast with expectations was we talked about the fact that the expectation is here, the movie, and then reality is here. And what happens is a situation that we deal with our whole life, actually. Like it doesn't go away just when we're 24. It doesn't go away at my age even. I still deal with it. If we don't learn to deal with expectations, it can blow our life up for the rest of our life and make our life horrible. I mean, because we have the movie, there it is. This is reality. And then in between is our emotion. And so our emotion is typically hooked to the movie. Yeah. This is the movie and I'm excited. And then this happens and we lose our mind. because our expectation was up here, right? So as we grow and we get older and grow mature, even myself right now, expectation is a very, very real thing, right? Making sure that I can adjust my emotions to what reality is versus what I was expecting. And I struggle with that every day. Still, honestly, it's something that I have to deal with. So let me ask you this just briefly. How do you feel social media has helped form you? Maybe form you is not the right word, but been a positive and or a negative thing in your life since you left high school? How's social media played into Jacob to this point? Helped you, not helped you? Where are you on that?
Well, definitely kept me up to date with trends or certain news that I follow through social media. But I guess I would say I'm an oddball for my age, because I guess not everyone, but I tend to use TikTok just for my self-entertainment. But like my Instagram, I let my girlfriend run that and just kind of post whatever she wants or anything like that. And I don't have a Facebook or anything like that. But I would definitely say, just watching it through my girlfriend, it can really shape what you think of people or certain lanes that you can go down through life. And it is very much so get in your head, and you have to be able to, I guess, just shut your phone off and not let that stuff affect you. It's like a whole nother dimension almost. It's like you can say anything you want to someone in person, but there's going to be a lot of unfiltered stuff online. And, it can really get under your skin, or it can really motivate you, whatever way it's going. But I like to think that it really just depends on how you let it affect you. If you let all the bad stuff get to you, you're going to be stuck in a rut and you're not going to be able to get out. But if you can kind of get past that stuff and realize there's always going to be haters, you'll be able to take it in a good way and enjoy it, and not just use it for the bad comments or what people are saying about you.
Yeah. You said something there about the haters, right? There's always people who are going to be negative, and they're out there, right?
Yeah, it doesn't even matter what you're doing.
No, you can do something good or you can do something bad. And it's like they live behind a screen.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
They live behind a screen. And they're really people who are really probably afraid and awkward socially, in essence, because they try to slam other people from behind the screen. Maybe it's jealousy, right? Maybe it could be that somebody has something good in their life that they posted up, and they see that, and then they make a negative comment and hate on it, just because they're maybe jealous because it couldn't happen for them. Right?
Yeah. Everyone's got their opinion and they like to say it.
They do. And one of the things I'm going to say here, and honestly, I just want to make sure my mic doesn't fall off, because that'll be a bad situation right here. But one of the things I want to say here that I wasn't planning to say, but I think is really important, especially with the people we're talking to, is when we talk about haters and all of that, right? The one thing that I think is so lacking in the society right now, especially in general, right? In general, but specifically into this generation, is tolerance. And what I mean by that is I feel like there is a very quick move to judge somebody, and based on you don't believe what I believe, you don't do what I like, so therefore I can't be friends with you, right? Rather than realizing the person, right? It's the person that you have a relationship with.
Yeah.
It's not their belief, right? There is a big difference there. Like, I have a relationship with you as my son, right? And I have friends that I have relationships with. And there are people that I know that have beliefs that I don't really believe in, right? I don't practice and I don't believe them.
Yeah.
However, I'm still friends with them, right?
Yeah,
I can still have a relationship with them. And I don't go, well, you don't think like I do, and so therefore you're off the list. I can't talk to you anymore. I think there's that whole thing of tolerance has gone on turbo. In the world we live in. And I talked about this show is not just about a podcast, right? This isn't just a place to come and I'm going to give you information and work hard ahead of time to provide information of detail to you to help you with your life. But it's a movement. Like if there are 68 million of you in this generation, right? There's 68 million. Imagine if people started to get a grip on some of these things and really started making changes in their life personally, how that could change within the different avenues of life in this generation to turn the generation differently. Yeah. And I think this is a big one. You made me think of that with the haters and the tolerance. I think that's a big issue.
Yeah.
So we all need to be, focused on a person rather than on their belief. Right.
Yeah.
We can still care about them.
It's a crazy thing. Like, especially people my age, whether it be political beliefs or just any beliefs, like with everything that's going on, just how quick people can cut you off or say bad things that you've known for a long time just because you believe something.
Yep. And I think the other thing is a lot of times, like you said, when we're talking about social media, a lot of times people can put stuff up on social media and people take it as gospel, as truth. Like, oh yeah. And then they take it and post it to 100 people, and they take it and post it to 100 people. And then they go and tell people, and all of a sudden they've built this whole story about somebody or something, and it's not even true.
Exactly.
There is no, so my recommendation would be to everybody here, myself and everybody watching, please make sure if you're going to put something up about somebody and you're going to mess with their reputation by saying something negative, please make sure that you're talking truth. And then here's the other thing, man. How about you think about what it would be like if someone did that to you, right? That's a really good way to live. It's kind of like the golden rule in the Bible, do unto others as you want them to do to you. Like if we all lived that way and we actually all said, hey, how would I feel if someone did this to me? I think that we would be in a better place as well. So let me ask you this then, the last question on that section. How's your friendships and relationships changed since leaving school? So over the past 6 years, I know that life changes, right? Because you move and people go on with their life. Any comments about how friendships and relationships have changed since you graduated? Any thoughts there?
I would say it's a complete 360. You'd see these people every day, and end of the day, your friends would call you or just come over, pick you up, and hang out and do anything. And as soon as that ends, everyone chooses a different chapter or a different route to take. And some people are having kids, some people are getting married, some people are in jail, some people are still at home. It's a lot of different things, and it really depends on how you yourself try to keep up with those people, because you can text and everything and it can go one way or the other. But I'd say it changed. I would say I'm friends with probably like one or two of them still that I know, but we don't even talk anymore. But that's because, my one buddy, he's got a kid and he's starting his family, and, I'm all the way out in Minneapolis and I'm starting my own family. And, you can always, it's nice to just keep them in your head and know that you can, if you were to go see them, it would still be good. But, I think that's the thing of becoming an adult with friendships, is you're going to make new ones as an adult, but all those old ones are good memories to have and remember what you went through with those people.
Yep. Everything changes. I remember when I was teaching high school, I used to tell the kids in high school when they got to their senior year that, you're going to lose it when you come to your senior year, because everything's going to change. You're going to get hit with this load of bricks that says, holy crap, in 9 months, I'm done with this whole chapter of my life. This is ended and I'm in adulthood, right? I'm moving, and everything changes, right? All the rules change.
Yeah. And also just going to different colleges. Yeah. I remember when my one good friend, it wasn't even end of graduation yet. And I think he knew what was coming, and we just kind of killed it off because we had a good friendship and it was going different ways and knew we kind of weren't going to see each other anymore. But it's good memories to keep for sure.
Yeah. But you gain new people.
Yeah, exactly.
New people come into your life and are a part of your life and continuing on that journey, right?
Yeah, 100%.
All the time. So I would ask you, what can you name something that sticks out that you don't feel prepared for? Even sitting here today, like, is there something in life that you're thinking about future or whatever, and you're like, dude, I'm not ready for that.
Yes, and I'm totally excited for it and want it, but just parenthood. I would love to have a child with my girlfriend, but I think it's something that no matter how hard you prepare or get excited for, you just don't know what's coming, and and it's exciting, but and I don't think I'll ever be prepared for it.
Yeah. There's no book. I know that, having 3 kids, there is no book that specifically says do this and do that. There isn't one.
Yeah.
So it's a challenge.
Got to write your own playbook.
You got to write your own playbook. I talked a little bit about expectation last time about kids and some of the stuff I went through, right? Like I wasn't expecting at 45 to have a baby, but we did.
Yeah.
And, I wasn't expecting to be holding him up above my head, showing him to people. And all of a sudden, things started to come out of his mouth all over my head. And so I talked about that last show, but these are the kind of things that come along with it. And you don't think about those things when you talk about a family or staying up all night when they don't sleep through the night yet.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, okay, that's good. That's a really good answer. Something about adult life that still doesn't make sense to you. You got anything there? There's something about being an adult and you're like, dude, I just don't understand.
I will say just taxes. I mean, anything you find out, there's taxes for this. There's property tax. There's tax on freaking Diet Coke or whatever you want to get. Everything is taxed, and it's like, come on, can we just have a free world? Not a free world.
Can we just keep our money?
Can we keep our money? Yeah. And then you get taxed on it for your checks too. And it's like, oh my gosh, just everything, taxes.
Yes. Yeah. It's hard to get a grip on. And even at my age, it's still hard to get a grip on.
Makes you want to join a union.
I'm just telling you, man, it's the taxes are a tough gig. That's why I would tell you there comes a point where you need somebody to do your taxes.
Yeah.
Because it's not pleasant. I remember about 10 or 15 years ago, I had a friend that does taxes. His name was Ron, and he did my taxes for me. And I went to see him, and I was kidding him. He said to me, "Hey, maybe afterwards we'll go grab lunch and get a drink." And I'm like, "Yeah, okay, yeah, sure, why not?" So he finishes my taxes, and he looks up at me, and he goes, "I'm really serious about a drink. You're probably going to want to have one." And I'm like, "What?"
He's like, bottle.
"Yeah, dude, you owe like $10,000." And I'm like, it blew my mind. Yeah. I mean, I was like, okay, say the word again. Tell me the number again.
Pinch me. Am I awake?
Yeah. And the employer somehow, when you fill out the W-4s and all that stuff, I had messed that up and did not put the right number down, and they didn't take enough out of my paycheck.
Oh, that's tough.
Yeah, this is, honest to gosh, this is 15 or 20 years ago, I believe. And I all of a sudden got this bill for I owed 10 grand because they hadn't taken money out of my. So that's another show we're going to do. We're going to talk about investment, taxes, and that kind of stuff. But it's very real. So hey, to wrap up today, Jacob, thanks so much for sharing your stuff and being here. It's really great to see you. We haven't seen you for about a year now.
About a year, yeah.
We don't get to see Jacob a lot, but we're glad when he comes home and we get to see him. What would you tell somebody who's watching who's 18 right now? If you could tell them one thing, what would you say?
I would tell them that it's time to lock in. You got to figure out what you want to do with your future. And, it's never going to be it could be the dream job or anything, but you got to figure out how you're going to set yourself up for the future. It's all fun and games to get ready for college and to party town and find the ladies or find the guys or whatever your situation is. But it's really important to figure out what you want to do with your life and how you're going to do that. And it's very important because you can get thrown into the deep end and then you got to just figure it out with no time at all. And then you got to stick with your decision. And then eventually you'll have to change that up again. But it's really important to figure something out that's going to set yourself up for yourself and for the family that you may or may not have.
Yeah, it makes total sense. So you got to learn that there are times you're going to be swimming in the deep end, and you got to learn to really tread water, and then you got to learn how to get out of the water.
Exactly.
Because you're going to get tired of treading it.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to get out of the
And there's
pool,
no
right?
life jackets either.
Yeah, nobody's throwing you a preserver like mom and dad would do, right?
Yeah.
When you're younger and you're on the parent plan,
Yes.
which we talked about earlier. Here's some food, little baby bird, that kind of a thing. Help take care of the birds. But that's good stuff. What would you tell the 24-year-olds who are watching? What's one thing you'd tell somebody who's 24 right now? or in their mid-20s?
I would definitely say to keep positivity as the number one option. You know, you got to hold yourself accountable and not let yourself get consumed by the world and everything around you. You have to be very strong-headed and stick with your beliefs and, you know, find God. You know, it took me a while to get back there, but I am now Catholic, and it is a very overwhelming thing to come back to what you once had and start over again and really define that relationship with yourself and God. And it can take you a far place. It really makes you feel differently about everything, honestly, once you get that connection.
Yeah, well, Jacob, thank you. That's awesome. And it kind of winds into us closing up today. You know, first of all, I want to tell you, man, it's so awesome to see you.
Yeah, it's good to see you as well.
And it's been a really interesting ride to see you at 6 years old, little blonde-haired guy, standing there telling me cool car in the McDonald's parking lot before you got a Happy Meal.
Yeah.
Right? But to see you grow up and make decisions. And the one thing that I've always told your mom and other people about you is how proud I am of you as a person and being committed to and your work ethic that you have. Because you really have done extremely well in your career and what you're doing. And you've advanced in it, and you've been focused on it, and you've worked hard at it, and you've built a reputation over it. And so it's really cool to see where you're at in your life, right? Yeah. And what I would tell everybody as we close today, you know, one of the things that I always talk about, I kind of bring this down and talk about the fact that, you know, we've talked about a lot of physical stuff, right? But there's also a spiritual side to every single one of us. And Jacob was just talking about how important it is he kind of came back to teaching about God and realized that this is a piece of missing puzzle in your life, right?
Yeah.
And what I would tell you is if we do all these things and manage expectations we've talked about and identity and all the new things we're going to talk about, but we neglect the spiritual side of our life, we are going to have a really huge hole. And you may be 20-something now, but if you don't do something about that hole in your life, you'll be 30 or 40 or 50 or 60-something or older. And guess what's going to still happen? You're still going to have a hole. You're still going to be seeking for something to fill the spot in your life, and nothing's going to fill it. A new car, making $500,000 a year, a person, you know, nothing is going to fill this spot. And the reason for that is because we were created that there's only one thing that can fill that, and it's God. If you don't have a relationship with Him, that spot is always going to be wide open, and you're going to be searching, right? And what I would tell you in closing is, you know, I think all of us are familiar with GPS, right? So you guys, mostly those of you who are listening today, you guys don't know life without a GPS, most likely. If I were to tell you, hey, here's a map. We used to have a book that was this big. It literally, Rand McNally, I think, map. It was like this big, and it was like this thick. And if you went on a trip, you would have to like get the book for the state where you were going, and because there were all books for different states, and then you would have to go find where you were trying to go, and you would open this book. Now that's this big. Literally, I'm not kidding you. It's this big, and you're holding it in the car, and you're trying to figure out, okay, we're going to have to take route 2, and then, oh, look, we've got to get on 17 over here. Very complex to the GPS, right? So today, we use GPS as very simply, right? If you decided you wanted to go to California, all you really have to do is go west. If you have a compass on your car, all you have to do, right, is just go west. You'll end up out there. The problem is that you're going to hit a lot of potential problems, right? You could be in danger. You might go through some cities that are a little shaky. You might be in danger there. There might be roadblocks. There could be weather. There could be accidents. There could be detours, all kinds of different things. Eventually, you'll get there, right? But look at all the mess you got to go through to get there. So with the GPS, it makes it easier, faster, more efficient, helps you get there to the pinpoint in the best way. And what I want you to think about today is this. Life is a journey, and you're on that journey no matter where you are right now. No matter if you're 18, 20, 50, doesn't matter. Wherever you are, you're on a journey, because you know what's going to end? Your physical piece is going to end up done. You know, at some point, it's not going to be here anymore. And so what's going to really matter is the spiritual piece, which is what I'm talking to you about right now. And what I want to tell you is to consider the fact that, the God who made you and knows everything, he has the GPS out on you. He knows exactly right now where you're going to be in 5 years, 10 years, 30 years. He knows what's going to happen to you. There's a big word called omnipresent, omniscient, omnipotent. These are all like Bible words, and you're all going like, whoa, where is he going? Okay, what's important for you to understand is that means that God's all-knowing, right? He's the creator. He knows everything. He's plugged in. His network is constant real time. So if you have somebody that you could know and fill a hole in your life with this being, this person, and they know your future, why would you not want to get on a journey and be with him and have him help you on your journey? What I want you to understand, it's like there's a wreck 2 miles ahead and you're driving. You have no idea around the corner is a wreck. But there's a person above you in a helicopter who can see that there's a wreck coming. That's what I'm talking about. That's what God does in our lives. He knows what's going to happen, but I want you to understand very carefully, he doesn't make it happen. He can look out and he knows what's going to happen because you made a decision. You made a choice, and that's what's going to happen because of your choice. But he doesn't make your choices for you. He just knows what's going to happen. And hopefully people will come in your pathway and help you to understand and make good choices in your life. And so I would urge you to think about what Jacob said, right? Here he sits 24 years old saying, look, I returned back to realizing that's a missing piece of my life. And I can tell you at my life, much older than you and him put together, probably, it's very real. It's very personal. And I've seen miraculous stuff happen in my own life with my own eyes take place where there's been a definite intervention spiritually and things have changed my life and my direction. So I would urge you to think about that. I want to point you to my book that I wrote called Finding the Answer. That book is a 30-minute read. That's it, 30 minutes. You can find it on Amazon. If you go on Amazon, search Finding the Answer by John Cale. You'll find the book. I think it's $12 for paperback. It's more. There's a hard copy. There's also a Kindle version, I believe, downloadable. It's like $3 or $4 if I'm not mistaken. And I don't really care if you buy the book because of the money. I have to pay for the books. What I care about is that I believe, based on other people reading it, that it is a life-changing thing that gets you to think about and reflect on your own personal life, where you are, where you're going, and introduces a way to think about God that you might not have thought about. So I hope that you will go and be a part of that. Feel free to reach out to me, DM me. You can also email me at levelupwithjohn at gmail.com. So level, LVL, upwithjohn at gmail.com. And again, you can DM me as well. And I just want to challenge you to walk away and please tell somebody about the podcast, right? Again, I see this as more of a movement of an effect of change for people in your guys' generation and struggling, that these things can help you, then do something with it and tell somebody about it. Send them the link to the podcast. Get them involved so that you can make a change and impact somebody like a wave that ripples out in your life and make a difference, okay? So, Jacob, again, thanks for being here, man. I really appreciate it.
Love
you.
To be here.
Appreciate you being here. The pay's still the same. Zip and free lunch. So until next time, do something, would you please? Don't sit there and veg out with the remote in your phone. Do something with what we're talking about. We'll see you soon. Remember, you're unique and there's only one you. And I'm John, and I'm out.